Halloween edition of The Buzz. The second round in classes C1 through D2 are all going to be played on Halloween. In fact, some towns have even postponed trick-or-treating because they know how important football is. One of those towns is Pierce, and the Blue Jays looked pretty solid in their game last week, first round game against Lincoln Lutheran. 62-14 win for the Blue Jays. On the ground, they had 40 carries in the game, averaged more than 40 yards per carry, and a big reason for that is Nate Meyer. Meyer is a beast. You give him the ball, chances are he's going to get you at least 5 yards. But the thing that might help them as the playoffs go on is the improvement at quarterback by Lane Rorick. The junior came in as a first-year starter, and that showed up a little bit at the beginning of the season, but he throws a good ball, he makes good decisions, and he runs the ball when necessary. When you have a quarterback who makes good plays and manages the game well, in the postseason, you have a shot to beat about anyone. You also have a shot to beat about anyone when you're Norfolk Catholic, and they showed that last week in a 57-13 win over Raymond Central. The Knights were far from perfect in the first half, but they're the type of team that can overcome those deficiencies because they have so many weapons and they're so fundamentally sound. You have a 3-year starter at quarterback in Jordan Beller. He has a 34-1 record as quarterback, and you have a kid like Jackson Love for him to hand the ball to. You get in those third and short situations, you just give it to the bowling ball, he knocks down a couple pins, you set him back up again, and you go 10 yards again. Jackson Love is that type of running back. In Class C2, another coach who's taken his team to the playoffs year after year after year is Tony Hoffman at Crofton. That almost rhymes. I didn't realize that until this moment. Congratulations, Tony. The Warriors had a big win last week over Southern Valley. They're facing a pretty tough matchup this week. They have to host Doniphan-Trumbull. Doniphan-Trumbull has 2 losses on the year to Blue Hill and to Sutton. They've beaten the likes of Hastings St. Cecilia. It's not exactly an ideal opponent for the second round. But the Warriors are battle-tested. They played in that C26 district, which has 4 of 5 teams still standing. Lutheran High Northeast, one of those teams. The Eagles still unbeaten at this point, but they're also going to be challenged this week when they travel to Oakland Craig. The Knights have 3 losses on the year, 2 of those by just 1 point, the other to state-rated Bergen. North Platte St. Patrick's, on the other hand, they're unbeaten on the year, but they have not played a single team with a winning record, and they're going to find out just how tough that C26 district is this week when they host West Holt. The Huskies have lost to Lutheran High. They've lost to Creighton. They have Josh Coyle in the backfield. We talk about him all the time. You read about him all the time. Watch the kid play and you'll understand why. When he's on your team, you have a chance to win. And I think the Huskies match up pretty well with North Platte St. Patrick's. In Class D1, Hardington is also unbeaten like St. Patrick's, and they're going to have their hands full this week. They host High Plains Community, led by quarterback Tanner Fate. If you remember back to the beginning of the season, he was getting a lot of hype, and then Howells Dodge kind of erased that hype, which Howells Dodge tends to do. That's their only loss on the year. Other than that, their closest game was a 46-0 win over Nebraska Christian in the season finale. They average almost 58 points a game. High Plains is going to be a tough matchup for Hardington, as is Bruning Davenport Shickley for Creighton. Both teams are 8-1. You'd like to think you're rewarded for a good season, and maybe, into the quarterfinals you don't have to play these teams like Bruning Davenport Shickley. But despite the fact that their only loss was the 10-point setback to Elgin Public Pope John, Creighton is going to have its handful with a road trip in the second round. Another intriguing matchup, this one in Class D2, Sterling hosting Wausau. Sterling 7-2 on the year. They're coming off a big win over Wynot. But the thing about Sterling is their defense gives up some points and Wausau can score some points. Right now, Sterling is giving up almost 27 points per contest. You play a team like Wausau, you can almost double your defensive average because they put points on the board in a hurry. They have weapons all over the field. Marcus Clausen, their quarterback, who can run or pass. Austin Kahn, he can run, he can catch. Trevor Wakely the same way. Hunter Vanessa, great receiver for the Vikings. It's been a long time since Wausau has been where they're at, but if Wausau can just do its thing on offense, let Marcus Clausen run the game, find his receivers, find his weapons, they're going to have a pretty good chance to take that trip down to Sterling and come home with a win. A couple other D2 teams that you can almost figure are going to get wins. Humphrey St. Francis, Lindsay Holy Family. Holy Family a rematch with Fullerton, who they beat in the opening game of the year. Humphrey St. Francis, you can almost pencil them into that semifinal game with Lindsay Holy Family. I know St. Francis coach Eric Kessler doesn't want his kids hearing that sort of thing, but St. Francis is just that good. We'll find out next week if I'm right about how good Humphrey St. Francis is. We'll find out next week if I'm right about how great Halloween was, how great pumpkins are, and how much I enjoyed my roasted pumpkin seeds this year. Until then, I'm Tom Beamer for The Buzz.